So we're here at the Constable Fire Hall this afternoon for the delivery of the new ambulance for the Constableville Ambulance Incorporated. So we have Matthew Yelton here, who is the ambulance captain, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what the changes here in Constableville with the ambulance service.
So this last fall, Constableville Fire Department voted to separate the ambulance from the fire company. The initiative was to separate our ambulance from the fire company in order to provide service to the southern Lewis County area, to the Constableville, greater Constableville area and town of West Turn. But the effort behind that was to allow the ambulance to be able to group membership from other areas around us and increase membership with EMTs and drivers and manpower without the added responsibility of having to have the same credentials as the firefighters. So that if an individual wanted to join, say, the ambulance service and help out and become an EMT, they could do so without having to do the training that's required to become also a firefighter as well.
Okay. And part of the goal too is that you guys are going to be working a little more closely with some of the couple of the other agencies here in southern Lewis County. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've begun working alongside with Turn Volunteer Fire Company and their ambulance service, and West Leyden Fire Department and their ambulance service. The idea behind that is to consolidate services like training and education in an effort to kind of lighten the workload for our first responders. Mm-hmm. In this day and age, things have changed a lot with the Department of Health and regulations, and it becomes very difficult for smaller entities to do things like that themselves. So if we make it easier by making it a joint effort, it makes it a lot easier to entice people to come and volunteer and maintain credentialing and certifications to continue to serve their communities.
Okay. So tonight we've gotten the delivery of a brand new ambulance here in Constableville. So this is replacing an ambulance that, how long have you had the last ambulance?
Our last ambulance was 12 years old, just over 12 years old. It's a 2007 Ford F-250. It has served its purpose in the community for 12 years, like I said, and it was starting to show its age and start to cost us a lot of money to operate. So as part of our kind of change in the future initiative, we decided about a year ago to purchase a new ambulance to better aid our community in their time of need.
Okay. So what are some of the advantages? I know you guys got to custom design this ambulance and pretty much, fit it with whatever met your needs the best. So what are some of the capabilities that you have with this ambulance that you might not have had with the other ambulance?
So we did mirror a few things from the last ambulance. This is also a four-wheel drive pickup truck chassis, but the box for the patient compartment is much larger. The compartments are much larger for more equipment. We've also made the outer compartments much larger, added additional sealing to the outside and underneath of the carriage because of the North Country weather that we encountered. We changed some of the gearing ratio in the four-wheel drive chassis and upgraded that. And the suspension system is a hydraulic suspension system that they use similar on train cars. It's meant to deal with inclement weather, sub-zero temperatures. Unlike its predecessors with air suspension, this is a fully hydraulic liquid suspension system that can withstand the extremes of temperature that we encounter, along with the aggressive tire tread and the boost in the suspension system in the front. It gives us the ability to service the southern Tug Hill region and the snowmobile system that we deal with, and the recreational vehicle traffic that we deal with as well.
So you kind of just led into my next question, which was a topic I wanted to bring up as well. Here in Constableville, being on the Tug Hill, you guys experience some things that other agencies might not see a lot. So, as far as a lot of snowmobile trails running through here, you guys deal with some pretty serious accidents and things like that. So how important is it to the community to be equipped to handle things like that when they arise?
It is very important. We actually have a snowmobile rescue dedicated just to that, just to responding to snowmobile accidents up on the trail system.
Which was used on New Year's Day?
Yes, sir. Yep. Actually twice within 24 hours. So it's this time of year is a very, very popular area for our, I lost my track there. So this area is very popular as a tourist attraction during the winter months because of our lake effect snow, and the Tug Hill region and the beautiful area that we have has a very thick trail system that spans across the entire Tug Hill region and across into the Adirondacks. So we see an increase in traffic here with snowmobiles and ATVs during the fall and spring months. So it is very important for us to be prepared for any response, whether it's snow, mud, desolate areas, rural areas like we covered.
Right. And Will the snowmobile rescue unit, will that stay as part of the fire department, or will that be transferring to the ambulance service?
The snowmobile rescue will stay part of the fire department, and it will still have medical equipment on it that will be provided by the ambulance service. All the membership will be interchangeable between the two entities, so we will still operate as one, but essentially be two separate entities on paper.
Now, not all fire services have a snowmobile rescue. Can you explain a little bit why it's important for an area like this, that a lot of times you can't really get to the scene of the accident with your ambulance, so a lot of times you got to transport EMS and paramedics into the actual crash scene?
Right. So a lot of the fire departments in the southern end of the county rely on us as the fire department with the snowmobile rescue. We have a toboggan that's capable of carrying 2 personnel and a snowmobile capable of carrying 3. That gives us the ability to respond into the miles of trail system that we have in order to bring the aid to the patient at the accident scene and then extract them out to the ambulance location. And in some cases that can be just off of the roadway. In other cases that can be miles in off of the railroad bed or over onto the edge of the windmill farm, where it may be 5 to 10 miles before we can get the patient out to an area where the ambulance can access them.
All right. And we really appreciate your time tonight, Matthew. I just got a couple more questions for you. What are any plans for the old ambulance?
Currently, the old ambulance will be decommissioned, but still available. It will be placed over at Turn Fire Department in storage for the rest of the winter months. We do have some prospective buyers in the future. Our board of directors for the ambulance service and I will meet when it comes time to decide what the fate of that ambulance is. But it will likely continue to service somewhere in the southern Tug Hill region for another service that is in need of a newer ambulance.
And as far as we know, a lot of the fire and ambulance companies here in Lewis County are volunteer based. You guys do a lot of fundraising and things like that to purchase equipment and things like that you need sometimes.
Yes,
what kind of efforts went into being able to supply the community with an ambulance of this caliber?
So we were billing for services for the ambulance service. That was a revenue source for us, but we are a 501c3 nonprofit, so we do have the ability to provide funds via philanthropy. So we do the breakfast in the January and February months. We do the field days, and we receive donations throughout the year from people that have received our services that were happy with the service that we provided. So we rely heavily on our community in that aspect. We reach out and request those funds to continue.
And then we'll end with, obviously, it's no secret that the emergency services, not just in Lewis County, but around the state and actually across the country as a whole, are suffering from a lack of volunteers and things of that nature. So what can you tell people to let them know that you guys are always looking for volunteers and what they can get out of volunteering for something of that nature?
So because we're 100% volunteer service, we rely heavily on our community to support us, and I would encourage anybody that's interested in helping out with the ambulance. They can help out in ways like becoming a driver, becoming an EMT, becoming a paramedic, certified first responder. They can come and help us with our fundraisers, especially the breakfast. We're always looking for people to help serve food and clean up afterwards, and the field days especially. But these services are only available because of the volunteers and the dedicated individuals that find the time to service their community. So I would encourage anybody that's interested to stop by their local fire department and see how they can help out in any way. There are tons of ways. If you don't feel like you can become an EMT, there are other things that we can use for help, especially, like I said, cleaning up after fundraisers, helping out, serving food at our breakfasts, at our field days, donating money. There are tons of different ways that we can use help from the community.
Okay. Well, once again, we thank you very much for your time tonight, and very, very exciting for Constableville to, get a new ambulance like this. And was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and appreciate your time.